Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of the Crubcast. My name is Kevin, also known as the Golden Bolt. And today we're going to be talking about games that remind us of summer, games that give off summer vibes. I'm here with 3 wonderful people, 2 of whom you haven't seen yet or heard yet on the Crubcast before. And first, I'm going to introduce you to one of them, the host of today's episode, Mr. Sean, also known as Wolf Ko-san. Hi, Sean.
Hey, that's me. I'm the guy with blue hair, and if you can't see me right now because, Spotify or what have you.
Whoa.
Yeah, I have blue hair. Congrats.
Yeah.
You now know that.
Yeah. So...
It's been a while. I haven't seen you in a hot minute.
Yeah.
I thought you were going out to get milk.
I'll be back.
Just leave in the middle of the podcast.
I'm the host and I leave.
The milk! Oh, Jesus!
The other voice that you're hearing there, talking about milk, is world-famous Twitch streamer, JTart9, also known as Justin. Hi, Justin.
Hey, how's it going? I am famous, so unbelievably famous, you don't even know it's me.
I love that he just started playing into the bit that now it just sounds like he's a cocky.
I just seem super self-aggrandizing.
Yeah.
I don't even know how the bit started.
I don't remember how either.
It was just that 3 of us, for those that don't know, around COVID time, Justin here was like, I'm going to start streaming because I need to do something with my life right now. I'm just sitting around, as we all were. And so he started streaming, and as good friends, we all hung out and chat, supported him, supported the boy. And that became a thing where we, as the 3 concurrent viewers that he would have at any given point, we started calling him world-famous Twitch streamer JTart9. And that's just it. That's the whole story.
It's just stuck. It's stuck to the point where it somehow wheedled its way into the Charity Room's family feud. His family feud last
people
year.
just speak highly of you in the Charity Room chat, and they're like, world famous Twitch streamer JTart9.
It's just become a fact of life at this point.
I will throw out a plug for the Charity Room. We haven't announced the exact dates for the event yet, but if you like a bunch of gamers playing video games and raising money for wonderful causes, we are going to be back later this summer. So follow at the Charity Room on Twitter for more info on that. It'll be a good time. And then the other voice that we didn't say hi to yet is Trav, that Trav Guy.
Hello.
Hi, Trav.
It's okay. I've been on these podcasts before. I just sit in the background and be like, hey, guys, how's it going? And then I poopy my pants.
Great.
And then people ask you questions, and you're like, I don't know, man. What do you think?
Dude, I'm just like, I'm literally like, bro, I don't know. Isn't it crazy that like deers have eyes?
To be fair, that's just kind of how you are in general. Like that's also kind of like how I met you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which
I suppose we should talk about that.
We could talk about that more in depth soon if you want.
Yeah. So
right
Sean.
yes, that's me.
Talk a little bit about how you entered the Crub sphere, which one of the ways that the Crub sphere tends to exist is usually I'm the weird nexus point for a lot of that, because I knew a bunch of people from before the content game and then a bunch of people from the content game. And I was like, hey, you would all be good friends. Let's mesh you all together and make a cool super group. And then that's what happened.
And you were right.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's weird because like Chris said it in a tweet for the Crub Twitter, which, by the way, at Crub Official on Twitter, he had said, introducing the second crew. It was for episode 2's plug. He was like introducing the second crew of the Crubcast, how they met, and there was like parentheses by knowing Kevin. And I was like, man, that's weird, but that's true. Damn.
Yep.
Yeah, that really is it.
Made me feel weird.
Well, you should. I mean, for other reasons, but that too.
Like, technically because of Ant Dude, but he's just a bystander.
He was just a conduit we gave money to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I met you through YouTubers because I remember I remember specifically you like commented on one of my videos and you like reached out to me. And you were like, all right, I'm going to be honest. Just upload.
Who the heck are you?
Just upload. Just keep uploading.
That's been my advice to you for 7 straight years.
Yes, and I've only known you for 5 of them. To be fair, I haven't even started YouTube.
It's got like the secret #1 fan, like a Metal Gear codec.
But no, like we were talking and we were just like BSing, and Kevin was like, "Look, you just have to get used to just creating all the time and just throwing it out there." I was like, "All right, cool, dope." And so we started talking a little more through that, and I ended up going to a convention called Too Many Games that you were going to be at yourself. And so you were like, hey, I don't know if you added me to Crub because you didn't want to give me your number, but I remember like it was that weekend that you added me to Crub. You're like, all right, that's where you're gonna like just talk to us and let us know where you're at the whole week. Like that was.
Don't want his number.
So I don't think it was that. I don't think it was a phone number thing, though. That's probably a good.
So I'm a liar.
That's
Okay.
probably smart, honestly.
It's probably a
so
good
I-
idea.
I'm a liar. Okay.
All right, we're starting off hot, baby.
All right, Justin, how are you doing?
Crub drama. Crub
I
drama.
think, I think the way that we that we introduced you and Trav to Crub was just because we were trying to expand the Crub Discord server from just the few of us that it was into like, hey, here's more of the boys that like we already all know, because you were in that NewTubers. We've mentioned it in all 3 of the episodes at this point.
Yeah.
That there was a NewTubers game reviewer sub chat where we all kind of linked up and talked and connected and made a lot of cool friends out of that. And since half of those people were then in Crub to begin with, it was like, why don't we just move there, since that's easier and more fun. And that's how that started.
Yeah, pretty much. And like, so like I met you and JTart9, Justin, at Too Many Games. But I actually met Trav before then, I think. It was either before then or like something around
Yeah,
there.
I want to say I found...
Yes.
So I think you were following me on Twitter already.
Yeah.
Because there was like that whole group that like didn't quite know each other yet. There's certain other members of Crub that I'm not sure if they want to be mentioned.
Right.
Certain people in there that I knew that like Kevin would collaborate with them back then, stuff like that.
I should clarify that with this episode, you've met all 8 people in the Crubcast. There's another original Crub server that had more friends that are not content minded.
I should have
personal friends of mine, personal friends of all of us, but people we knew before content and don't do content.
Yeah.
So people part of the friend group or our friend group that I'm not sure if they want to be named, that I just knew about because Kevin would tweet about them a lot. I like retweet everything they post like good friends do that I didn't quite understand back then. And you were one of them. You followed me, and then I think after like one of your videos just showed up on my feed, I'm like my Twitter dashboard. I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. Oh, hey, this guy's funny. I'll give him a follow back. And then we started talking after that. So yeah I guess like we did indirectly meet because of Kevin. That's still true, but in a way, like Sean is like the only member of the Crubcast that I kind of met on my own.
Yeah, we met in an IHOP on my birthday. Like,
I don't think I remembered at the moment that it was your birthday.
Oh no, it was like 4 a.m. That's why.
I'm like, hey, I'm in town. You wanna grab IHOP? And I thought that he lived closer, and so he ended up driving like 30 miles. To find this IHOP.
Yeah,
that
which again, it was
incredible.
Like,
Friendship.
and my birthday's in like January, so like it's a little. It was like around the time when it was cold. It was gonna like snow and stuff. So I was like, I don't care. Let's go. Because that's just kind of
dry, but it was cold.
Yeah. So
well,
I met
dry for Ohio, but
and then we took a picture, and I remember specifically you edited my face out and just made it transparent because you're like, I don't know.
Did I?
Yes.
I don't remember that at all.
I do.
Oh, that's great. Oh my
That's
god.
fantastic.
That sounds like something I do, but I don't remember that.
Someone please find this. And then obviously through that I met JTart9, and me and JTart9 started hanging out a lot more because we started doing D&D together, which we actually just finished.
We just finished that
last
Good
week.
for you. You earned it.
It took 2 years.
Yeah.
We were a bit ambitious for it was our first ever campaign, and we were a bit ambitious, and it ended up taking us 2 years, and it could have been longer, but we just kind of told our DM, we were like, hey, it needs to end. Like, we need to stop this. Like, we need to get to the ending.
Yeah, it was like, all right, this is the last month, just go.
Yeah.
And we went. God, that was.
What do you mean you went?
We just went for it. Mistakes and all.
We were not prepared. Like, our characters, we had more character development, more room to grow, and we were just like no.
Yeah,
go.
there was none of that. It was so good.
We won.
We did.
Against all odds, we won.
Yeah.
Sean was the only one that lived. It was a suicide mission, and Sean was the only one who made it out.
Yeah.
He earned it.
We can go into that another time.
So
because
welcome to the D&D cast.
So Justin, let's talk a little bit about how you integrated into the Crub crew, because you're one of the OGs in the true original Crub group me that we've also briefly mentioned because we met in
Yeah, it's
college.
like I could take you on a trip. How it all started.
Our favorite rocket
so
ship.
I am the unique one of Crub where I'm here because I know Nicco. I'm not here because I know Kevin. I'm here because I know Nicco.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh,
So-
the wild card.
So Nicco lived 3 doors down from me in college freshman year.
I love that band.
It's a pretty good band, right? I don't know any of their music, but I know that that's a band. Nicco lived 3 doors down from me, and we got to talking during freshman welcome week. There was like a poker night or whatever that the school was decided to host. It was not for real money, but they were just like, you can just play poker. And we were like, all right. So Nicco and I went down there and we just started talking and hanging out. And then I would say in the first semester of college, Nicco brought Kevin over because Kevin was going to the same school, but he lived a couple of buildings away.
Yeah.
And he was like, you'll meet my friend Kevin. He's a cool dude. And we just started hanging out there. And then it just became a point of, we would sign Kevin into our building because Nicco and I live together. So why would we both go to Kevin?
Yeah.
And we just hang out there all day.
Well, and plus you guys had you had the nice building that they had just built.
That was true.
Like-
It's now sinking.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually,
what?
Really?
no. Actually, so I'm trying to think of how to
Can I
tell
sing
this
too?
story on stream. So
Doxed.
I won't. But there's an answer to that one, Justin, that I'll tell you after this.
Okay, cool.
For those that don't know, by the way, really quick, because I just said on stream, we stream these recordings live on Twitch every Tuesday around 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and then around 7 we start the recording for the podcast. There's an exclusive pre and post show. It's a lot of fun. We hang out, we talk to chat. It's a good time. We usually scream. You get to watch us set up and not say anything to you for a little while we set up. Stuff like that.
We're just looking at monitors and we're just like head into this monitor,
Yeah.
like not paying attention to anything around us.
Yeah, because it's a lot of work to set these up, actually.
That's how it be.
Yeah,
Not-
and then we're just like, how are we doing, chat?
Yeah, every now and then we'll check in with you guys, make sure you're okay.
It's like, are
and
you
as-
still alive?
Just like that.
As an additional reminder, some little upkeep here before we get back into Justin's story of how he introduced himself to the Crub universe, the Crub cinematic universe. We're also available on all audio platforms as well as YouTube. There's a video version of this that you can see on YouTube if you want to see our pretty mugs. There's audio versions on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere else. And if you are watching on any of those platforms, I'm gonna make you a deal here. If you're on an audio platform, it's a review. If you're on YouTube, it's a like and a comment and a subscribe. Do those things now. And then if you don't end up liking this episode, if you don't like it, you can take it back. Maybe don't leave a bad review, but those really do help index this podcast and get it off the ground and help the videos grow out to other people, both in our audiences already, as well as the wider world. So it really does genuinely help. So Justin,
It does.
Yes,
It does
please.
continue with
So-
your story now that I've finished cutting you off.
Beautiful. All right. So one day, Nicco and Kevin are at our apartment building, and Nicco and Kevin Nicco and Kevin are talking to each other, and Nico's like, "All right, we got to go onto a Discord call. We have to leave." And I'm like, "Huh?"
It wasn't
He's
even
like,
Discord
"Yeah, so
back then. It was
Skype.
It was Skype, yeah.
Yeah, so we had to
Skype.
go on a Skype call, and I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, so we have to go write our sitcom. So you have to go."
The sitcom.
They actively were like, "You have to go. You can't be here. You can't be in
Which
the writing room."
I don't
because
know
then
why
you'll
that
know."
was that way. That might have been a Nicco thing. I hope it wasn't a me thing.
I hope it was a Nicco thing, because
Yeah.
then we can blame him, and he's not
It's
here
his
to defend
fault.
himself.
We're going to say it's his
Oh yeah,
fault.
it's his fault.
He's not here.
On
to
the
defend
record,
himself.
it is Nico's fault.
So I would just I went into my room and hung out there for like an hour or to 2 hours, and then they knock on my door and they're like, "All right, we're done," and I'm like, "What the hell just happened?" So they were like, "Yeah, we're writing a sitcom, and it's this whole thing," and I was like, "All right," and then a couple of days later, they do another call and they're like, "Justin, why don't you join us?" And I'm like, "Sure." And there's this random dude that I don't know who's from Kevin and Nicco, where they're from.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, "Hi, how are you? I'm just some dude." And then they got to a point in the sitcom where it was like a school day, and my idea was, instead of doing dodgeball, you should do dodgeball, but you have sponges full of paint. And this is pre-Splatoon, so I came up with Splatoon.
This is 2014.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came up with Splatoon. You can thank me.
It's true.
Sean?
Is that how you became famous? Like you?
Yeah, I
Came
wrote a
up with-
sitcom.
Well, I was gonna say the Splatoon, but I guess that works too.
No. The Splatoon stole it from
should
me,
say.
but it's from the sitcom. But anyway, that was how.
Okay.
After that meeting of the minds during writing the sitcom, that's how I was then introduced into the group me Crub.
Yeah.
Which is proto Crub.
Yeah.
It's like the precursor
that
of
was
Crub.
that was the writer's room for this 3-person and then 4-person thing. And I remember this it was a dumb sitcom based around some college shenanigans, because of course we were in college. We had to write a show about college. Although they started writing it when they were in high school, so credit to them, I guess. But one of the things that I remember distinctly that hopefully we will find a way to do this, mark our words.
In some way.
There was an episode that I had the idea for that was every show has an episode where they go into like an actual place, like every Disney show had a Disney World episode. We were going to have an episode where the crew of the show goes to Comic-Con in character. So like they're not supposed to be at Comic-Con, or they're going to visit, and they stumble into their panel, and part of the episode is them doing a panel by accident in character, and it's filmed.
God.
And then it was partway through, they get dragged off stage because it's like, how are you here? Why are you here? And they're escaping. And then it would pan to the crowd would all be clapping, and it would just slow zoom in on Justin's face, and it would say, "Rest in peace, Justin, 2012 to 2014." And
I'm like 40 years old in this point. And
Yeah.
like in our brains,
Yeah.
like I'm like 40-year-old man, like
and also
sitting
it's
in the
like
crowd.
it's like the 2030s.
Awesome.
So it's gonna happen at some point.
Yeah, that will happen. Well, the Crub Comic-Con panel, it will never have.
I love the idea of like you guys doing it, and it's like a Comic-Con, but like there's like all sorts of advertisements for it. This is like Comic-Con, like 2028, and then it's just he died in 2014,
Yeah.
and there's like a picture of like the date.
Comic-Con 2028. Yeah.
Oh,
So you're
okay.
picking up on it. You're
Yeah.
picking
All
up
right.
on it.
You
So
know,
we knew he would be
got it.
world famous well before
Yeah,
anybody else in the world knew.
Yeah.
It was in the cards.
Yeah.
part of the cards, baby.
And then real quick for everybody else, Trav I met at Too Many Games. I was talking with Kevin. Kevin saw Trav from across the room. He said, "I like this guy's vibe." No, he said, "I have to go slap this dude real quick." And
That's
true.
true.
Just the same the same energy of like, "Hey, we're gonna go write a sitcom." I had the same energy of like, "Hey, I gotta go slap this guy real quick." And I'm just like, "What?" And so I'm following Kevin, and he just slaps Trav. And then him and Trav just keep talking, and I'm standing there for like 15, 20 minutes. I never get introduced. I never get
talking
introduced.
about it last night, and I realized, I should save this for the podcast.
Yeah.
Like I, no offense, I don't think I had any synapses firing when I met you, because I do not remember
That's
the first time
you were
I met
occupied
you.
by
Like you
Nicco.
literally just assimilated your way into my life, and I think that I want to remember it that way too. Like,
He's been a constant.
Yeah.
yeah, like it's like I always knew you.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because that's how it was. Kevin started talking to you. I was standing there next to Kevin for 10 minutes. Kevin said goodbye. He started walking away, and then I went, "So who was that?"
God,
Because
Yeah,
nobody
I
introduced me.
I guess I
Nobody
did.
introduced me.
Yeah. Yeah.
The same
That
thing
somehow
happened
makes
to
so
Sean,
much sense.
too.
I don't know why that was the case, but I don't think Trav introduced me to the person that he was there with at that time either. So I think that worked out.
no.
I think that's why I didn't introduce you, Justin,
Yeah.
because I was like, well, it doesn't matter. Like it's just friends.
Yeah, also back then you should have had the foresight to be like, "Hey, this is Justin. You're going to have a podcast
He's
with
gonna
him."
be world
Yeah.
famous, absurdly
you
famous.
better
famous.
start investing.
Right now.
Invest in
$20.
JTART 9 stock.
Yeah.
I'm on the NYSE. It's under JT9. So if you look on the stock ticker, you'll see
That's
me.
great.
What if I really hope you're actually no, don't look it up. Don't look it up.
Don't do
So-
it. Not yet. Keep watching the
yet.
podcast. Keep watching the podcast.
So
Yeah, we'll do it one day.
so now that we've oh no, go ahead, Justin.
I was gonna say for Sean, it was the same exact story. But
No,
instead of it
I
be-
talked to you the first time I met you.
No. The first time we met, you were talking to Nicco, and
Okay,
I
yes.
was standing next to Nicco for like 15 minutes, and you were just talking with Nicco the entire time. And then I walked away and went to Nicco and I said, "So who is that?" And then Nicco was like, "I don't even know. I think he's one of Kevin's friends."
That's just kind of how I am in
That's
general.
awesome.
And then my next memory of you was you walking around the show floor of TMG with a giant poster board around your neck
I
that said,
remember
"My
that.
channel's name is Wolf Kyo-san.
No, it
Please
said ask me about my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's
Yeah,
right.
I still have it over there. Actually,
Oh,
I'm
Well, you
not-
should
I'm not-
destroy it.
No, I'm keeping it just in case.
Dude, you gotta bring it this year.
But here's the thing. I'm just kind of like that in general. Like, I just meet somebody. I'm like, oh, hey, I've never talked to you before. But life story, let's go. And then I never see them again. The only difference is I'm stuck with you guys for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're contractually bound.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to leave, there's a lot of messy dialogue and a lot of messy paperwork to do.
Speaking
I'll get rid
of sticky,
Yes.
people get sticky during the summer. So, Sean, talk a little bit
So
about
true.
the idea that you had for this episode before we get into some of the games that we think of.
Yes. So I was trying to come up with some ideas because video games, there's all sorts of things that you could just talk about. And I was like, all right, it's about summertime. Why don't we just talk about like games that remind us of summer or like makes us think of summer? And that could be ranging anywhere between, just a game that takes place in like a really warm island or what have you, or a game that like we played when we were younger, like whether that be in high school or middle school, that during like a hot July day, we just stayed inside, said F you to all the people outside and just play our game.
I still do that.
I don't think you've gone outside in
I've
3
been
months.
kicked out of Marley and Me.
What?
What?
You can't just say that. How?
That's summertime.
No. Why were you kicked out though? No, I need to know right now.
All right, so Marley and Me, you know how it ends, right?
Wait,
We're not
an
an
actual thing?
No, okay.
You can't do a spoiler cast on Marley and Me in the middle of this.
Sean, what's the game that you would have picked first for summer?
So the reason why I even thought of this is I've been recently playing Persona 4 Golden. This is my
Oh, you poor thing.
this is my
Sorry,
first.
I'll shut up.
I will.
I like that game. It's pretty good.
My
Poor
child.
thing.
But so I've been playing that a lot lately, and it's my first playthrough. Outside of restarting it 3 times because I have the attention span of a 2-year-old running through Toys R Us, which is closed down now. But I'm
Why is
still
there a
logged in there for
2-year-old
some
in a
reason.
closed down store?
Why did they lock the kid in?
That's the plot of Marley and Me too.
Yeah. But I find my
they
way
say
in.
all dogs go to heaven too.
Yep.
They do. Well, usually. But anyway, so I started thinking about, I was playing the game and it really just made me think back when I was younger and I just go out and be a rambunctious teenager and do a bunch of crazy things with my friends. And it started to make me like kind of reminisce on a lot of like the good times that I had with like just a group of friends outside of Crub, because now Crub is my only friend group and that is just how it is and forever will be.
Yep.
But as I kept playing it, it just made me, because Persona 4, I'm not going to go into spoilers, but it takes place in like a tight-knit community. And there's, it's small, but like everything feels likely. Every conversation, every person you meet. And they affect you and you affect them. And the more I played it, the more I was like, this is just... it's hard to describe, but
This is just Marley and Me.
it is Marley and Me.
It turns out that Marley's been the villain all along.
Yeah, but as I kept playing it, it made me kind of just like miss just being in high school, getting on a bike and just going to a pond for like a weekend. Whereas now I'm an adult and, I could try to do that, but my job will call me like, Sean, what the piss are you doing? Get your butt here right now. And I'd
So
say,
happy for you.
yeah, well, don't ever be happy for me. But that game started to make me think about, what other games have I played, which I can talk about later. But like, Trav, you're on our Marley and Me kick. Outside of Marley and Me, what's a summer game that you enjoy?
Why Marley and Me?
My favorite summer game is actually All Dogs Go to Heaven 3.
Why? What's up with the
The
dogs?
hit game for the
Is that-
GameCube.
Is that the sequel to
actually-
Airbud?
Yeah, they made like 5 Airbud movies. Do you remember when they went to the moon?
Airbud Goes to Hell.
Yeah. Actually, Airbud Goes to Hell was going to be my answer. No, actually, real genuine answer.
Mhm.
The game that always makes me think of summertime, or rather, I think about when you go outside and you smell that summer air and you think, allergy season. The game that comes to mind is actually Paper Mario for the GameCube.
Okay.
Thousand Year Door. It's like that game has nothing to do with summer, but it is the. So I was born on a pretty humid and cold area in the West Coast, a little place called Nevada, and we ended up moving further east. The state of Florida, and the first time I ever experienced a hot summer. Because where I lived before, it never got hot. It was always, it also never got really cold either. It was almost always between like 50 and 60 degrees all the time, even in summer, winter, whenever. So this was my first time experiencing like over like triple digit Fahrenheit temperature. I was boiling alive in my fleshy Nevada skin.
Not much has changed.
Not a lot. I'm still in Washington. But I lost my train of thought. Right. My first summer experiencing that, I was playing a borrowed copy of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door from my friends from, I want to say it was in 4th grade. Maybe 3rd grade. But I was playing it for the first time, borrowed it from some friends I met. Literally, no joke. Hi.
That is the second time today that you have been in the middle of a very like good story and then just let out a burp in the middle of.
Oh my god, I didn't even notice. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be shit posted. I wasn't paying attention.
For those, I wouldn't have pointed it out, but for those that are listening on Friday when this usually comes out or in the future, Trav and I just recorded a Zelda discussion with Chris Mykonos fan little before this podcast aired, and before this podcast is airing live, and the same exact thing happened, and I didn't even notice it. He called attention to it himself, and for you to do it again and sneak it out there, I had to.
Yeah, like so the first time when it happened last time, I noticed it. I leaned away from the mic and I said, "Hey, edit that out." And then we joked about it, so therefore we're not editing it out.
If you hadn't said edit it out, I would have because I don't think you were actually speaking for that one. Like I would have been able to make it work, but then.
Yeah, I mean,
this one's like
I don't care.
Set in the middle of the story. Yeah.
But yeah.
Continue. Sorry.
I wasn't paying attention. What was I talking about? Right. So Paper Mario. I was living in Florida. I
borrowed the game.
Melting skin.
I borrowed the game from a friend. My skin was melting, and that's just the environment I was in. First playing Paper Mario. Actually, technically, it was the second time. I rented it from Blockbuster the year before, and I got stuck in Hooktail's castle. And I didn't know what to do. And then eventually when I made friends after moving, who I legit, no joke, was like, "Hey, you ever played Luigi's Mansion?" to this kid that was like sitting in the corner all alone. And that's how we became friends, because luckily he did play Luigi's Mansion.
Because if he didn't, then you would get bullied by the kid sitting in the corner.
Right. And also that's kind of like terrifying. Just imagine like you're sitting in the corner eating your peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and then like you just see this tall, sweaty guy looking down like, "Do you like Luigi's Mansion?"
I was not tall then. I did not hit my growth spurt.
I was like, do you think Trav was the height that he is now in 4th grade?
Trav was born 6'2".
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, and then he grew to like 7'2".
Dude, I love the amount of people that like I meet at conventions once a year, which is like 5 people that are like, "Wow, you're taller than I thought." Yeah. Anyway, right. Important conversation at hand. Yeah. So it was gym class. There's this kid sitting in the corner, no friends. I go up to him, go, "Yeah, play Luigi's Mansion," and we became best friends. We're still friends today.
Good.
And then I met some friends of theirs, and they told me, "You gotta jump out the window." In Paper Mario, not in real life. And that's when I borrowed the game from another mutual friend, and then I finally beat it that summer of like 2001. So I had a good time, and I always think of like every time that summer vibe comes back, and I'm just like, "Yep, it's allergy time. I'm gonna start sneezing. The cicadas are out." I think of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door.
That's a good choice. I never really thought of it. It's any summer game because I never played it because I'm an idiot.
I've never played it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm making my way through Paper Mario on the Nintendo 64 right now. But one day I'll get to it because I hear a lot of good things about it. And another thing that I hear a lot of good things about is JTart9.
That's me.
So we're gonna jump to you.
Those people are liars.
I mean,
I
we
don't
have
know.
established earlier that I am a liar. So
That's true. You love Wawa.
don't
So
you say
true.
those? No, all those words were wrong.
So
Every single word was
so
wrong.
the game that I played a lot that really made me feel like very summery. There's gonna be a few. There's gonna be like there's the usual ones like Mario Sunshine and stuff like that. But like I didn't really play those during the summer. I don't know why I never made that connection. The two for me that really give me that summer vibe. These are gonna be really left field. There's a game for the GameCube called Monsters Inc. Scream Arena. And it's a Monsters Inc. dodgeball game for the GameCube. And I would play that game with my friends during summer vacation all the time. We would play it all the time. I don't know why, we just did.
Fun fact, that game is actually technically sort of canon to the Kunio-kun series.
What?
Same
How?
studio.
It's not.
Say that it's,
No.
it's a dodgeball game
Is
made
this
by
a
the
Marley
same
and Me
studio.
thing?
What do you mean? This is not Marley and Me's cinematic universe.
Yeah, I don't know the Marley and Me
That's not
stuff,
what I meant,
but what I said, I'm serious.
Wow.
Huh, neat.
The second game for me though is
I made that up.
no, you didn't. It's real.
I
It's real. It's real.
I had a feeling, but
you don't have to.
thank
You don't have to give Sean this whiplash of emotions because you're just telling him the truth.
Why? He's the host. We have to bully him.
That is
that's
true.
the
That's how it
look.
works.
That
If
is how
you
it
don't
goes.
bully me, I will pee my pants right now.
I know. That's why I do it. It's funny.
I already did it. Anyway,
You
go
gotta
on.
put you.
They can't see me.
That's true. They can't see it. It's no. Don't stand up. The other
I'm
game.
not standing up. Don't lie to people.
The other game for me, another really weird one. If you're a JTart9 Twitch like day
Enthusiast.
oneer and you know this, I streamed a game on my Twitch called MLB Power Pros for the Nintendo Wii.
I remember that. Yeah.
MLB Power Pros on the Nintendo Wii has a game mode called Success Mode, and it basically turns this baseball game into a like slice of life JRPG with a card system and how you respond to every situation in your life. And this is a game that I played all of the time in summer. Number one, because it's baseball season during the summer. So I'm playing baseball as a kid, and I'm also watching baseball on TV with my dad. Because my dad loves baseball. And just playing and watching baseball all the time. In success mode, you would play through the game, and if you win the success mode and you make it and you get scouted to the major leagues, you then can put your character on that team in the game, and then you can do a GM mode where you run the team and you have your character from success mode on your team, and you can then continue developing them, make them like a superstar kind of thing. And
Oh.
how many times I went through that story mode, I could tell you exactly what happens off the back of my hand, because I would just go through all the players that weren't in the game and I would make them in the game. And then if I won, then they would actually be on the team that they were on. So like I have, this will date this episode, but like Bryce Harper, who plays for who played for the Nationals at the time, I would make Bryce Harper in the game, go through the whole story as Bryce Harper, and then win, and then put him on the Nationals, and then go and play with the Nationals on the career mode and stuff like that. It's one of those games that just gives me that nostalgic feeling every time I go back to it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I could go out and like play catch with somebody right now.
And then he said, "I'm gonna get you that battle pass, Miles."
And then he said, you can't gift it with V-Bucks.
And then my dad left. But speaking of
He's my
dads
dad now.
leaving, Kevin, I'm back. So can you talk to me,
Did
my
you do
child?
your homework, son?
We got
Why do you sound like
we
Sal?
got the milk.
Go on. Did you do
But
your
Also,
homework?
People
Yeah.
people usually say
Plankton.
plankton.
Yeah.
So
They have the
Plankton
same
and Sal
voice.
have the same voice.
Yeah.
Also, Justin, just to harper back, that game
Harper.
sounds so much more. Yeah, well, whatever.
I don't know. Harper.
I can't speak. But that game sounds so much better than like the newest incarnations of, say, like NBA 2K and Madden, because it sounds like there's a lot more first single player.
Yeah. A lot more
Elements,
single player
I couldn't think of the
content.
word.
Yeah, a lot more single player content. Two facts. One, a new MLB Power Pros game just got released on the Switch. It's $1. It has none of the single player stuff, but it exists. So if everyone
Well, that's good.
Awesome.
buys it, maybe they'll bring it back. Because the second fun fact about that series is it's still being made. They're still being made in Japan only. It's a game made by Konami, so Konami's making them for the J League,
Damn
which
it.
is the Japanese baseball league. And they keep making them, and they still have that story mode in them. And I really wish I could play them, but they're all in Japanese. I can't read any of it.
Just learn it. Just learn it.
If I learned Japanese just to play the MLB Power Pros, not
You would do
MLB
it.
Power Pros, because
That's a power move.
it's a power
Yeah.
move, right?
Power.
I was gonna say that until you said Konami, you gave me a chance to follow up with Kunio-kun again.
Kunio-kun?
You didn't set me up, so I'm disappointed in you.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad that.
Well, Kunio-kun had the was it the basketball game? And then like to get
Yes.
people on your basketball team,
Yeah.
the manager would give everyone like sexual favors.
Let's
That is,
go.
I don't think that is. You just made that up.
You
As long as
told
they
me that.
consent, that's okay.
Why do you listen to me?
I listened to you because you only speak truth.
YouTube
it-
man lied to me?
Hold on. Name one truth that Kevin has ever said. Just one.
You
Just
like
one.
You like Wawa.
I will.
You like Wawa?
No. I hate Wawa. I'm gonna let Kevin tell his story of whatever game he wants because I'm not talking about Wawa right now. I want to talk about my game, and you're just ruining my mood.
What's your game?
Kevin, go.
So my
Talk to
game,
me.
you want to talk left field. I'm gonna give you one that you're gonna sit here, die. I'm gonna
get it baseball.
I'm gonna give you one that you're gonna at first be like, what? And then within moments you'll be like, oh yeah, you're right. 2012, The Walking Dead season 1.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
2012, The Walking Dead season 1.
Yeah.
Actually,
That was
yeah.
the game of that summer. If
Yeah.
you
That is
look
true.
back,
That is very
because
true,
that
yeah.
that game took the world by storm and dominated the discussion. And episode 1 came out in April. Episode 2 came out in June. 3 came out in August, and 4 and 5 were later in the year, obviously. But when those came out, that was what you played. That was water cooler. That's what you talked about. And that game came out at just the exact right moment that it was the absolute peak of The Walking Dead in terms of like, it would get a little more popular in terms of the show, but it landed at just the right time. It followed the year that LA Noire came out and had a very similar, not episodic structure, but very similar, like revival of the point and click kind of sub gameplay. And just that, I think about that game, and like that game did dominate a summer in my memory because I was just like, I need to know what happens. I need to know what happens. And
Oh yeah.
man, I mean, where else would you get a random point and click game in the year 2012 that wins Game of the Year? Like, it's just a one of a kind moment in time.
And the fact
yeah.
that it was episodic meant you were talking about it every episode that came out. So it
Yeah.
did just keep lingering throughout the summer until the
Yeah.
point where school starts again and you're still talking about it in the first
Yeah.
couple of months in school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember when that came out, like it was all over YouTube. Like anybody you thought of was playing it. And I remember like I got it as it was coming out too. And I remember like playing it because I didn't have a chair back then, so I used to like sit on my ottoman and just like be glued to that screen. And I would text my friends like, "Hey, you guys ready?" And we would just like put our phones down, play that episode, and then come back like, "All right, let's talk about this," and just see what all we chose and what have you. But I'm telling you, that game, monumental. I bet you any money that somebody from AMC saw like the success of the Last of Us TV show and was like, you know what, we have a video game also. And it would not surprise me if someone tries to pitch an idea of making the Walking Dead game, the 2012 one, into a TV show. Would not surprise
It
me.
almost
the
go
only-
full circle.
The only reason that's not just possible, but maybe likely, is that there are like 14 Walking Dead spinoffs currently in production.
Oh, I know.
Jesus.
I
really?
know.
Yeah, there's off the top of my head, there's the French one where Daryl washes up in France for no reason. There's the Rick and Michonne one, which was the movies that they didn't make that they turned into a limited
Apple
series. There's another limited series. There's Fear the Walking Dead. There's Tales of the Walking Dead. There's more Tales of the Walking Dead. There's
Negan and Maggie.
There's
go
the
to
Negan and
New
Maggie.
York.
That's Dead City. They just show up in Manhattan for some reason, and that's the plot.
Yeah.
There's one I'm forgetting. I think it's wild considering that they canceled that show suddenly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who wants that? Who wants all of that?
I was a big fan of The Walking Dead. Like I watched the show, but like I read the comics and I really liked the comics. And to watch how much is deviated from like the path of the comics, not just in terms of like story wise, but like characters branching off and doing piss knows what is insane to me.
Yeah,
But
it's wild how like I said, when I say that series was suddenly canceled, I mean not long before the final season was starting to enter production, that was like, this is the final season, and everyone was blindsided by it because they had just announced 4 spinoffs, and it's just that I think the ratings finally had cratered because of the COVID season, and yeah,
it did not go well. But speaking of happier stuff, I guess I'll talk about the game I actually wanted to talk about, because like I said, Persona 4 Golden made me think of this video topic, but like there's one game in particular that is near and dear to my heart, and for multitude of reasons. But it's Kingdom Hearts 2, and I am a slut for Kingdom Hearts. That's just a fact. We're gonna accept that. You don't have a choice. But
okay,
thank you. I feel vindicated. When I
take it back.
Too late. When I got that game, I got it like the first week of summer. And I played the first game. I even played the Game Boy Advance game because
King Chain of Memories, I think it's called, right?
Yeah, Chain of Memories. Which I love the aesthetic of it. I did not like the card battling.
Was that the one that got like remade into 3D, or is that Dream Drop?
Both.
No, Chain of Memories, yeah, it got a remake on the PS2 of all things back in the day.
Yeah, and then
awesome.
it was released again on the PS4 with the whole all-in-one that I have over there, because again I played them all. But anyway,
for the record, I don't play Kingdom Hearts. I don't do that. I have too much self-respect for that.
That's a step too far.
Yeah.
Mr. Genshin Impact.
Hell yeah.
Honkai Star Rail.
I haven't played Star Rail.
Yeah, you do.
But they eventually did bring all the games to PS4, and probably Xbox. I don't have an Xbox. Well, I have an Xbox, but it's over there. So when I played Kingdom Hearts 2, again, I was in high school, first week of summer. I don't care what's going on. This is what I care about. And you start the game as a completely different character. You start as Roxas, not Sora, which already had me like, what is this? And you play as Roxas as he's kind of going through his own summer vacation, which kind of made me connect to him a little more. I'm not going to go into spoilers because there's too many when it comes to Kingdom Hearts. But you could probably tell people go spoilers through like game. His summer vacation with him, to the point where you start to take over Sora. It is really interesting to me because like a lot of the stuff that he was doing, I was doing. And as I played through Kingdom Hearts 2, and I 100%ed that back in the day, like I beat the mess out of that. Every time I think back on that game, it just reminds me of the innocence of being young, and reminds me that hey, that it's okay to feel good about things. It's okay to feel joy, not to be this decrepit, however old I am right now.
You should feel sad at all times.
Oh, I always do.
Okay.
But I don't know, it was such a light for me back then, because I was going through a lot of crazy things with my home life. And since then, I'll look back on it, I'll play it and stuff, and it just every time I play it, it just reminds me of summer, like summer and when I was younger. But enough sappy stuff, because sappy stuff is kind of
keep being sappy. This is kind of it's kind of what the summer's.
This is therapy.
It's therapy. No,
this is not legal advice.
No, it's not.
It's therapeutic advice though.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just kind of be me and just be honest about stuff. When Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, that's when I was diagnosed as being clinically depressed as a teenager. So going through a lot of those emotions and having kind of a comfort game really helped me figure out who I was and how to kind of cope with that. Because back then, like, I wasn't really open about my feelings. I wasn't open about what I was going through. I just kind of kept everything inside, and just to have something to look forward to every single day when I woke up. And I know it's kind of cheesy, like, oh, it's Kingdom Hearts, it's for kids. But that game helped me so much back in the day that, again, to this day, I think back of all those positive emotions that it made me feel. and like my family still remembers me playing it all the time. Like
Oh, that's sweet.
whenever Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, I remember my grandma texted me and she was like, "Do you like that Disney game?" And I was like, "Don't worry, I already have it. Don't worry."
I just
But
wanted to get it for you. That's sweet.
oh no, she might have. But
Can't get you the battle pass.
what
Can't gift it with V-Bucks.
Kingdom Hearts 2 did for me was it allowed me to realize that there are ways for me to cope with whatever I'm going through, whether that be, finding joy in a video game or seeing how these characters went over their own hurdles and what have you. So Kingdom Hearts in general, like I said, has a very special place in my heart, but Kingdom Hearts 2 is really whenever I started to realize who I am as a person. And so there you go. There's my therapy session for the day.
Proud of you.
Don't ever lie to me like that ever again, Trav. I will
Okay.
come to your
I hate
house.
you.
I will come to your house and eat all of your asbestos.
Ooh.
All of it.
Oh, what? That's mine, bro.
Not anymore.
Bro, I bought this popcorn ceiling because I'm hungry.
Popcorn ceiling. Gosh.
Just scrape up the top of the roof and then it just falls down into your bucket.
Yeah, dude.
I don't think that would. I mean,
If
it
you
might.
guys,
Be.
if you grow bathroom mold, and then you put it on your ice cream, and then you just make sure it keeps coming back, it's infinite food.
It's true. It's kind of like a culture. Like when you're fermenting things, you can kind
Dude,
of
this
just.
happened to my buddy Eric once.
And now he's gone. He's not dead. He's just in like Mexico.
No,
Fleeing the
but-
asbestos police.
But to go back to what Sean was saying, no, I completely get that, because sometimes when you have something that catastrophic come up in your life, you just kind of need some kind of an anchor point to kind of keep yourself grounded and be like, listen,
Yeah.
this might be
Absolutely.
going
Right.
on, this might be going on in my life, but sometimes you just need to kind of detach and let yourself kind of cope
yeah.
and enjoy something. So I'm glad that
And
you have that game I'm glad that you had that game there for you at the time that it was
Right.
there.
And I think like games, it's really interesting because a lot of them can help you with things like that, like it did for me. And for some people out there, maybe Kingdom Hearts 2 will do the same exact thing. But it's always interesting to see like what games impacted people and what level.
Yeah.
Like for instance, I hate Glover, and I haven't found a single person that likes Glover, and that's just the way it is, and that's how we have to look at it.
Bro, the YouTube comment section loves Glover.
They love
All
the
of them.
idea of Glover.
Yeah, they love the idea of Glover. So going back to like the feeling of like, playing summer games and what have you, I wanted to kind of go off of another thing and ask this. So Kevin, when you think of like, summer games, is there a moment where in any game where you're just like, huh, that hit me, like that got me, and by that I mean like you realize that the game hooks you
In an
I know I went
emotional
about that
in an emotional way or in general?
in general.
Off the top of my head, I can tell you that there was a moment in Tears of the Kingdom that did that. I won't say what it was. You can watch the spoiler cast on YouTube if you want to hear that. Other than that, off the top of my head, I could say maybe like Shovel Knight, because I had played Shovel Knight when it came out. I liked it. It was good. I enjoyed it. When the DLC came out, when the first update, rather, the Plague Knight campaign came out, I sat down and played it again, and just that whole game completely opened up in a way that I couldn't have expected. Because that first campaign update that they made for the Kickstarter campaign was not anything substantial like the other two. It was just kind of like a slightly different level setup for a lot of the characters' specific moves and whatnot. And something about the way that Plague Knight controlled, like, recontextualized the game just enough and made me want to go back to the main story of Shovel Knight, the main campaign rather. And I ended up going through and I did every single in-game achievement because I was on the Wii U for Shovel Knight's campaign, for Plague Knight's campaign. I never did go and do Spectre Knight or King Knight because by then the Switch was out and I had it on every other platform. Like I own Shovel Knight on every platform physically, I'm pretty sure. Because
including board game.
Yeah, including the board game, which is stellar.
It's actually really good.
And
yeah,
I just sat down during that month and I would get home from work. And this is right before the Golden Bolt had begun as a channel. It's in the time span where I'm I'm planning things out. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with it, all that fun stuff. Just like with Crub, we spent like 6 months. I spent 6 months planning the Golden Bolt out. We spent 6 months doing the logistics on Crub stuff, just to make sure we were all encompassing in our plans. And I would get home from work, and I would just get home, and I would beat Shovel Knight, and I would just beat it one way. Didn't matter what way it was. At one point, I did one of the challenges I did 3 of the challenges in one go, which was don't die, no checkpoints, which goes with don't dying, shovel only in less than 90 minutes. And not going to say I was the first one to do that, but I was probably the second. Because but this is before Shovel Knight really, really just kept taking over the indie zeitgeist and became the indie game that's not Minecraft. And I mean, Minecraft's not indie anymore, so But yeah, I think it's Shovel Knight because that's the only game for a long, long time, besides like a Ratchet and Clank when I was much younger, that I would come home and beat a game and just do that again and again, just because it was so zen doing that and finding every single thing and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because I got Shovel Knight. I got it on my Wii U pad, and I played the mess out of that. Like, there's so many different ways to experience that game. Like, I love 2D platformers, so to go through that, all the DLC and stuff, like, I totally get it because since day one, I was like, no, it set the bar so high for indie titles in general.
Yeah. Indie titles, retro revivals, retro inspired. Those had all already existed before Shovel Knight, but Shovel Knight really showed a persistent quality and a persistent ability to become the indie Mario. Not just that, but it did that all on a shoestring budget. That's why if you're not familiar, that's why the first update for Shovel Knight was the Plague Knight campaign. There were 2 others that were then to come out. There was the King Knight campaign, which is the last one that came out, and there was Spectre Knight. And the Plague Knight update lost them a lot of money because they were producing it and it's a free update. And so they started selling the individual campaigns. You would still get them for free if you had the full game, but they would they started with the Switch launching. They put Spectre Knight out as its own thing, and everyone loves Spectre Knight. I'm not a huge fan of it, but
Spectre Knight's really cool. I really like him.
I think my thing was that it kind of went back to basics. Like every campaign has to be the first one, and since that was the one they were selling as its own thing, they had to make sure that it went back on a lot of the early mechanics of Shovel Knight and do them in a unique way, but it's also still surface level. Rather than expand the mechanics in a Mario Galaxy versus Galaxy 2 kind of way, which always kind of sat weird with me. I understood it, but I didn't love it too much. But anyway, it was just the fact that no matter what they were doing through the entire run of Shovel Knight, they did it on such a low budget because they only had $300,000 on Kickstarter money. And this is at the same time that Mighty Number 9's pulling $4 million, Bloodstain's pulling $6 million, Ukulele's pulling $1.7 million or something like that. All these retro revivals from, the studios, from getting the gang back together, and retroactively you look back and you're from people that maybe had fallen out of the industry for a reason as it evolved, because their ideas hadn't evolved with it. Outside of Bloodstained stellar. But anyway, moral of the story is that they did it on such a low budget and they made Indie Mario on $300,000 for 10 employees. So they were all taking pay cuts. It's just insane.
And they honored every single thing on that Kickstarter. Everything they said that you were going to get, you got it.
The only thing that they didn't honor was that they turned the fighting game mode into a separate campaign. They made it bigger.
Yeah.
How?
They went above and beyond.
Yeah, how?
Ridiculous.
They're just insane.
Ridiculous.
Shovel Knight's just too OP. Like it's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
Anything that has Shovel Knight on it, I'm like kind of tempted to try. It's kind of
Yeah.
the reason why I got really into Rivals of Aether, because the last guest character for Rivals of Aether ended up being Shovel Knight,
Yeah.
which just makes sense because Indie Mario. If you can get Indie Mario into your game, you get Indie Mario.
Yeah.
And then I just
Absolutely.
turned out loving
Yeah.
it. So
Which I've never really thought of Shovel Knight being as Indie Mario until you said it, and now it makes so much sense.
I mean, he's in
Because have you-
Rivals, Super IndyCart, Ukulele. He's in Bloodstained.
Yeah.
he's in Smash.
He's in Smash.
In Smash,
Yeah.
yeah,
He's in
You know.
Smash. Like I don't think you
That's
understand how
wild.
crazy that is.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that is wild. And like not only that, but now you brought up like Minecraft. I guess like Minecraft would be kind of the Tetris of the indie world when you think about it. In a way, I don't know.
In the past, I don't think anymore because again, it's Microsoft now.
Yeah,
like
no.
it's
No, we got Tetris Dungeons.
No, now it's just the Minecraft of the Minecraft.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's too massive for its own pants.
yeah, which
It's weird. I never really saw Minecraft as indie, even though it very much so is.
yeah,
I think just because
Oh,
of
it
it.
was.
I think just because of how. Yeah, I mean, it was. But I think it's just because how much of a juggernaut it became.
Yeah.
yeah, it's insane how big it became. And I apologize because like whenever we start these podcasts, it's like, all right, what are we going to talk about? And I'll just give like a point and stuff, and
The
I kind of
penis.
I threw out the
True.
whole hook thing.
No, we're good. We're good. Trav,
Yeah, I was
what is
gonna-
the game that you've gotten like truly hooked into? Like
I was supposed to ask him.
I'm doing it.
Okay, go ahead.
What were you gonna say, Sean? I don't hear Justin.
That's true.
Trav, what was the game that did the thing that I said Shovel Knight did to you?
Oh boy.
Yeah, what's a moment? What's a game that like hooked you in general, or like a moment that hooked you in general?
You can't say Doom.
Yeah, you can't say Doom.
Nah,
You can
I
say
wasn't
Doom.
going to.
Sims 3.
Are we talking about like early game synapses firing sort of thing, or like just
No, because Shovel Knight
moment you
Shovel Knight took
fell
my
in
mind in 2015. Like that's
Yeah,
That's
just in general.
I mean, a recent example, I think I talked about this on the spoiler cast because I'm having deja vu. The trying to force myself to play through the first Fallout kind of hooked me. The top-down sort of isometric RPGs.
yeah.
I was like, I want to understand. There's this group of people that are like, no, Fallout 2 is the best one. Just
Yeah.
no one wants to play it. And then I forced myself to play through one with a walkthrough, and then eventually it just clicked, and I'm like, oh, I finally understand the game. And then it was just like an obsession for a short while, I guess. Oh, excuse me, I'm not tired. I wanted to say excuse me.
Close enough.
But then after I played through one with a guide, I made myself play through two without one for the most part, and just exploring that world and reading everything I can in a time where I was just learning how to read. Oh, my cat's in my room. Hi, Zippers.
Zipper's
Zippers.
cameo.
It was just an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Finally understanding the value of reading in a video game, and that kind of rocked my world in a really pathetic way, but it did, and now I enjoy games in a completely different way.
I know Fallout 3 did that for me because that was one of my early next gen experiences at the time. Because Halo 3 blew my mind when I first played it. And
Yeah.
that was like single-handedly, once I played it, I was like, I need to buy an Xbox. I need to figure out a way to get money. And then when I played Fallout 3, like at first I didn't fully follow through on it. And then after that, like the midway through my playthrough, it was like, okay, now I've realized that I'm getting sucked into the lore, and I need to read all the lore, and I need to read the wiki. And you know, I used to have like a near encyclopedic memory of the Fallout lore up until they made Fallout 4, and I got sad.
And then
I think
it
we
got
all-
streamlined
I think we all
quite a
did
bit.
that.
Yeah. So Trav, do you have like with Fallout 1, what made you like force yourself to do that? Because I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of like Persona. It starts at 3. So I'm confused why you went to 1.
So I mean, I'd already played Fallout 3 and 4. I'd beaten both of them. It was a long time ago. I barely remember most of Fallout 3. I spent a good amount of time with Fallout 4 just because I thought it was a fine shooter, not really a good RPG. And then I kind of skipped over New Vegas until after I got back into Fallout with 1 and 2. But you know, my channel was popping off. I was trying to figure out like what kind of content do people like. And then I was looking through Steam sales one day and I'm like, all right, let's look at like a retro games because that's kind of what people like on my channel, right? So I see Fallout 1 and 2 and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess I'll finally give them a shot because I was fresh off of the honeymoon period of playing the first System Shock, which kind of taught me how to understand these really archaic old retro games. And I'm like, okay, let's just take it a step further. Fallout 1. Basically did exactly what I did with the first System Shock, where I followed it with a guide until the mechanics finally clicked with me. And then it was just like, I get it now, I guess, near the end of the first one. Like, I understood why I hear these people online screaming so much about how much they love the first Fallout and how Bethesda ruined the franchise. That sort of thing. Yeah. And it was interesting because after that I went into New Vegas and people were telling me once I mentioned like I'm playing Fallout 1 and 2, people are like, oh yeah, Fallout New Vegas is like the proper Fallout 3. And by that I thought they meant like, oh yeah, it's just a good game, so it's worthy enough to be a sequel to 2.
No,
but
it's
then
not that.
I found out
it
like,
is that, but it's not that.
Like, oh no, the story actually picks up kind of like from the seeds that Fallout 2 planted.
Yeah. Because for those that don't know, when Bethesda took over with Fallout, they took over because Interplay was continually making mistakes and going bankrupt, and so they bought the IP and they started planning a Fallout 3, but they decided to move the Brotherhood of Steel, the in-universe faction, to the East Coast to try and give them a chance to do a soft reboot of sorts that would still fit into the canon of the rest of the saga. But a lot of the characters end up feeling, or a lot of the groups feel a little bit out of character because groups like the Enclave and Brotherhood of Steel don't end up being in Fallout 3 what they represented in 1 and 2. Like the Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout 3 is like they're just the good guys, whereas in Fallout 1, 2, and New Vegas, they're just a group. Like they're not necessarily good.
Yeah, they're pieces of shit. Yeah. But they're also like, if they don't have a huge impact, they're not like the world police. Yeah. If anything, in Fallout 1 and 2, like the Brotherhood of Steel are recluses that refuse to do good things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're like one of the whole plot points in 1 when you first meet them is I'll keep this short because I don't want to turn this into a Fallout podcast.
I'm okay with that.
The Brotherhood guy that you find their compound, and the guy's like, we only let in recruits, but hey, if you want to become a recruit, here's a place on the map that we need an item from. And it's this place that's so absurdly irradiated that you find out later, like, oh yeah, that's just what they tell people so that they go out and die and it's not their problem anymore. Like they're literally telling people in the wastelands, or they're sending them on a suicide mission because that's less dangerous than just telling them no. Like they're not risking any repercussions from that. And then in two they're practically dissolved. Like there's like maybe 3 or 4 outposts around the wastelands that has like 2 people in it, and they're like, yeah, like there's no Brotherhood of Steel anymore, basically. So here's the remnants of what we have. We'll try to take on the Enclave, which is the entire US government. And then in 3 it's like they're just the world police again, or now, and like this super pro, I don't know, patriotic sort of thing, kind of like what we were told the Enclave was, except actually good. And it was weird. I don't like that decision personally after playing 1 and 2.
4 is worse.
I remember.
I don't like 4. But we can save that for a Fallout discussion. Trav and I can go on.
Because I have not played any of these games all the way through. I started Fallout 3 New Vegas, got to like literally the beginning of it, and I was like, okay, that's enough. And I've restarted Fallout 4 like 4 separate times, and I can't get into it. I can't get into it. I've tried so hard.
4 is a good Borderlands game.
Yeah.
That's true. That's very, very true.
That's what it is.
So like, why am I finding a sniper rifle that just has ice on it? Like, this isn't a Fallout game. This is a freaking looter
It's
shooter.
the thing to me is, and this is what I'll say, is to this is going to avoid any significant spoilers for Fallout 4. But one of the things about Fallout is that those games give you endings. And the thing about Fallout 1 and 2 was, all the Fallouts really, is that when the game ends, it ends. They give you an ending, and then you're done. Like, you can go back before the end and like do other stuff if you want to, but they don't give you a post game. The thing in Fallout 4 though is that the way that they design Fallout 4 is around not really giving you satisfying choices to those endings. Like Fallout New Vegas has like 15 different endings technically, depending on what you do, how you do it. There's custom cards depending on like written text cards that are like, here's what you did and here's what happened, that reflect what you've done. And it might only be a couple very, insignificant changes, but it's your story. The place that I stopped in Fallout 4 was partway through the game. There's a section where factions exist, and one of the factions wants to kill off the other two. And I was like, okay, every Fallout game gives you a diplomacy option. Or you can find some back door to take out one faction, but not the other, or take out, some in a certain way. And in Fallout 4, that's not the case. You have to wipe out every other faction for your faction, whichever one you choose to go with. And so the moment that I found that out, because I stopped and I was like, okay, where's the diplomacy? And I Googled it real quick and I saw that there wasn't one, and I stopped playing because that was my hard line. I liked the rest of the gameplay. I liked some of the exploration of some of the areas in that game, but there was already a structural issue where turning that game into Mass Effect dialogue, where the character speaks, took away a lot of the ability to role play.
In a role playing game.
I can see that.
Yeah, and it just it's just kind of a shame because I really like the area. I like the world they built in Fallout 4. I like the Boston area, but.
Yeah, I like walking around in it, but like none of the characters hooked me. None of the story hooked me. I was like, okay, I'm here.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah.
But J-Tart 9. What about you?
Something I will say about Fallout is it's gonna be a very weird analogy. Fallout has the Xenoblade Chronicles X situation with me, where the thing on the cover of the box is the Brotherhood of Steel power armor that looks super, super cool. And when I played Fallout 3 for the first time, I was like, where's the power armor? How do I get the power armor?
Okay.
I want to run around in the giant power armor. And you just don't get to do that until like later in the game.
It doesn't take
and
that
the same thing
long.
Was
your first
same thing
playthrough,
with
I get
Xenoblade
it,
though. Yes, like first, just.
I mean, like Fallout 3 New Vegas, it does take a while.
If you know what you're doing, it can take like 5-6 hours.
Absolutely.
Which obviously you wouldn't know the first time. But in Xenoblade X, like that, you have to play for 40 hours to get to the max.
40 hours.
Yeah.
40 hours.
So.
The front and center of the box of Xenoblade Chronicles X is the mech, is the giant mechs that you fly around in that game. And it's like the core thing that they were advertising throughout the entire time they were putting that game out. And I was like, oh, that's going to be so sick going around the Xenoblade worlds, because the Xenoblade worlds are huge, massive.
Yeah.
And being able to fly around in a customizable mech and be able to fight things, that'd be so awesome. And you just do not see them until the 40 hours after.
I never got to play it myself, but that's kind of how I felt about Custom Robo.
Custom Robo was also one of those things where I wanted to play the multiplayer with friends, and I got a copy of the game at Too Many Games for like really, really cheap. And I was I turned it on and I was like, where's all the robot parts? We could only play with one
I didn't
robot.
expect it to be an RPG.
Yeah.
It takes a while to get there. I love Custom Robo, but you talk about Xenoblade Chronicles X, like you just brought back a lot of emotion, because I haven't played that game since obviously the Wii U, because it's
stuck there.
It's stuck there forever. It is the Metal Gear Solid 4.
Stuck there for
It'll
now.
get off of there.
For
It'll
now.
get off there. It'll get off there.
Really?
Monolith has been doing way too good of work to not be rewarded
tell them
and
that.
letting them make their own game.
Their excuse was like, we don't know if we have the budget for it, and then they announced Xenoblade 3 a week later. So,
true.
if
they don't have the budget for it right now.
if they want to do it, Nintendo will let them, because Monolith Soft has free
deserve
reign
it.
to do whatever they want
deserve
at this
it.
point, because they made the Switch happen. So,
Because honestly, maybe a hot take. I haven't played 3 yet, so take this for a grain of salt.
What about a hot take?
Same thing, because it's me. It's Wolf
Okay.
Chaos on. Xenoblade Chronicles X is my favorite Xenoblade game.
Okay.
I haven't played 3 yet,
Sure.
but I like it. I like it more than 1, and I like it more than 2.
Sure.
I've never beaten Xenoblade X. I've only beaten 1, and I didn't play Future Connected in 1. I think it's called Future Connected.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Xenoblade X, I played it for 5 hours, like 10 hours straight, and then I turned the game off. I went on vacation, never touched it again. Just because I was doing side quests to get main story, and I was like, but I want main story. I don't want to like figure out why this side character is like, I'm better than you, and then you help him, and then he's like, I guess I'm not better than you, but I'm gonna follow you around and learn how you do everything, so that way I can become better than you.
And
I'm like,
Awesome.
we talked about this a couple days ago in a regular call, and off the top of my head, I made a comparison that I think was actually pretty strong for what Xenoblade X is, and that's that Xenoblade X is like a Suikoden, where they give you 7,000 characters, and the characters are the game more than the main story is the game.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
I could see that.
But what I love about Xenoblade X is that that world is an actual like globe. Like you can go from one side of the map and wrap around
And
They
go
have
around.
7 or 5 continents.
That's pretty cool.
It's incredible. And I remember the first thing I did was I jumped into the water and I swam across the ocean. And
that's exactly the same thing I did.
there was nothing
Exactly
there,
the same
but
thing.
it was there. Like I did it. And it was cool. You know?
Yeah,
You end up in an
You
area
just-
you're not supposed to be in, but
Yeah.
who cares?
Yeah.
You're allowed to do that.
the freedom in that is just so, liberating, honestly.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And the crazy thing is that's on a Wii U where you had to download like what, a 32 gigabyte patch.
That game was
Oh, yeah.
almost too big for stock Wii U's. Like you needed to have,
If you had a basic Wii U, you couldn't download it.
even if you had a 32
Yeah.
gig Wii U, you needed more storage.
Yeah.
Like, you needed to be
Mhm.
really careful.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
Monolith
I
Soft
remember,
is
I remember I had to delete all my games just to play that game.
Yeah.
right?
I was very upset about that. I was like, well, there goes Nintendo Land, and there
Oh,
goes...
God forbid.
God forbid
Yeah.
Nintendo Land, man.
God forbid.
Yeah, that made me cry real tears.
No,
Still think about
still,
it. Man, I'm kidding.
It's the worst things that happened since Kingdom Hearts 2.
The word, if only.
Dude. The arc of the little Pikmin me in Nintendo Land made me cry.
I don't think any
He
of that
goes,
happens.
That's what happens when he gets eaten by the Bulborb.
I have a secret. I never once played a Wii U game. I just looked at all the water and I said, "Nice water."
And then you said,
It was him.
and then you were like, "That's a little bit
Yeah.
too much now." Now that I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it.
Too much water.
Oh God.
Actually, fun fact: my one old boss, he ended up
really hated water.
well, maybe, but he ended up getting a Wii U demo thing.
I
of
got
the
one
ones
too.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, here you go. I don't know what you want to do with it, but here you go." He tried to. He's probably gonna see
It's
this one, but I
so
don't even
heavy.
care.
That thing
He-
is so heavy.
It is heavy, but he also tried to make it as my bonus for Christmas, and I will never forget that.
I think it's worth a
was
good
like-
bit of money.
For those that are maybe unfamiliar, we're talking like a Wii U demo kiosk station, like you would see at a GameStop or at a Walmart.
Yeah,
Yeah, like you go into a GameStop
Yeah.
and they would have a Wii U inside of it, and then you would have the gamepad on like a stand, and then it would like flip through a bunch of game demos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The Nintendo would come and take the Wii U back, and then they would just leave the demo stand and say, "We don't, just throw it in the trash."
Yeah,
And
which-
it has like a subwoofer in it, and like it has like a whole speaker system, and it's all with LED lights and stuff like that, and it's all built in like LED
Well-
TV, like a LCD TV, like it's a whole thing, and they
So,
just sort of
I-
like throw it in the trash.
So
We here on
Yeah.
Crubcast support the LCTV
you
community.
mentioned
that is literally how he got that. He dumpster dived for that thing. He was like, "Oh, here you go," and at the time I was like, "Oh, cool, this is great." And then he told me why that was what he gave me,
Trav.
which was, "I don't want to give you a Christmas bonus."
What?
Trav, are you ready?
Yeah.
Justin mentioned subwoofer. Trav, what do you think of Marley and Me 3 Subwoof?
Subwoof was a very divisive title. I thought it was okay. I saw it in theaters opening night. I took Justin with me. He declined.
Did you?
And instead of just not going, he sat in the chair, but he sat. in
He
it
played
backwards.
Spider-Man
That's true.
actually.
I played Spider-Man on the.
No, that was afterwards. He
Wait.
played Spider-Man in the bathroom.
So we
I'm-
got to the theater,
Yeah,
and then Trav was like, we're gonna have to get dinner beforehand, but we don't have that much time considering we're running late.
Lord.
So he just went to the Burger King drive-through and got me a Whopper.
Drive to Burger King.
And I unfortunately, he keeps throwing Whoppers at me, and I wish this was a meme. He keeps doing it.
when we were on vacation,
I've only done it once.
We were on vacation in February, and we made a detour because I picked up Trav from the airport, and we made a detour on the way because I was like, I'm hungry, I need food. So we got Whoppers, and then we got an extra Whopper, and there's two parts of the story, and I'm going to pass one to you, Trav, after I'm done with this one. But I said, I think we called Justin down because Justin was going to let us in. I then backed out of the spot I was pulling into, turned over. Trav then whipped the Whopper at him, and we drove away. The second part is, do you remember the man that was behind us at that Burger King?
Yes, I do. Okay. What was the name we gave this guy? It was like the chicken cheese man or something like that. So we're driving through this, like, Kevin and I are in uncharted territory. No living person has been.
It's the
here.
worst place I've ever been.
We find this Burger
like
King.
everything looks like Fallout. Like the gas stations are all green. It's gross.
Dude, like the lights have this like green tint to them. It felt like we were gonna get radiation poisoning if we stuck there for too long.
Did.
Yeah.
There's probably like a ton
Kevin
of moss that
did.
no one
That's
ever
why.
cleaned.
That's why he like slept for the entire trip.
Wasn't he driving?
I slept
I'm
the
a sleep
trip.
driver.
He's good at it.
I'm a sleepy
I'm still
driver.
alive mostly. So we drive through this Burger King. We drive through the Burger King.
You did.
We go in the Burger King drive-through, and I have no idea where we are. Before we went in there, we actually walked into the Burger King, used the bathroom, and that's when I got a tweet from the guy that runs the Did You Know Gaming Twitter account. This is true. He responds to one of my tweets and goes, hey, aren't you the guy that hated Doom 3 and said it was bad? And then I read that while I'm pissing in the urinal.
Next to me.
Right next to, or no, Kevin is washing his hands behind me. And while I'm pissing, still pissing, there's a steady, constant stream frying chicken. And I go, hey, you got to check this out. And Kevin's like, no. And I'm like, no, it's on my phone, I swear. Okay, that happens. We're walking out. And they have, like, at every table there is a KFC, a Burger King crown, and we take like two of them, or maybe it's just one. I don't remember. I remember Kevin reaching over and just grabbing one on the way out.
Swooped it as we left.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
And then we go in the drive-through because we don't want to talk to people directly. So we go in.
It's like 9
we order
p.m.
our
They're
food.
closing.
Their speakers are peaking. Like it hurt my fucking ears, and I was in the passenger seat. So I don't imagine what it was like for Kevin. Order our shit, go around because it's like it's one of those
really
drive-thrus where you need to do a loop-de-loop.
Yeah, it was a really long loop-de-loop around the drive-through to get over to like the other side of the store. And
the window where you pick it up is on the other side, so you have to go around this like parking lot structure. And so we're nearing the window, but we can still see where they ordered the food before. And this man in like this red van, not Hummer, holy shit. This red like SUV rolls down the window and really loudly goes, hey! Like, all right, cool, whatever. It was funny. We both laugh. I think Kevin rolls up his window to laugh. And we get our food, whatever. It's just like, all right, that was funny.
There's one part because we called him the chicken cheese man because he's I'll get a chicken sandwich with extra cheese.
Yeah, so I didn't notice that part, but we get our food. I ordered a chicken sandwich from Burger King because I don't know what else to get. So I open my chicken sandwich. There's a ton of cheese on it,
like an overwhelming disgust. Like, it's like fondue.
Yeah, we're talking like Taco Bell nacho cheese. It's not like it's not like slices. It is wet. It is dripping everywhere on me, and I'm just like, okay, let's split. I think it was Kevin's idea. Like, hey, do you just want to split it? Because I found out my chicken sandwich was further down in the bag. this is like a free sandwich we got that the guy screwed up.
Yeah.
And we didn't tell
So
him
it was
because we're terrible
chicken
people.
cheese man's. Well, they would have had to throw it away anyway. But it was chicken cheese man's chicken cheese sandwich. And so we wolfed it down real quick and pulled the hell out of there because we didn't want chicken cheese man to come for us.
Yeah, dude.
He's
That man made his presence known, and anyone like that is a signature alpha.
it rattled my soul.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Dude, like it was something that whole week we were just like,
yeah,
if we were stun locked
Eldon,
for life.
you kept talking about that instance so many times.
Yeah.
Like you were just like, Sean, I have to tell you about this. I'm like, you told
There
me this
was
like,
a moment where I'm like, I'm dreaming. This isn't real.
it's
There's no
He-
way this is real.
like he's pulling up to this drive-through, and you hear Elden Ring boss music start playing.
yeah.
And like you just know that if he had found out that we had unintentionally gotten his sandwich, he would have just rolled his window down, driven up next to us, and ripped out our heart.
It's like a fucking Slender Man jump scare or something.
Hey, you got my sandwich. And then the only part of the story I remember, I was there for was when they get there, they get to where we're staying. I come downstairs. I'm like, hey guys, you finally made it. And apparently Trav didn't mean to, but like 10 feet away from me, he just rolls down the window and just single-handedly chucks a burger at me.
Yeah, so that was Kevin's idea. He's like just really quickly drives by, stops. It's like throw the burger. And so like I just like impulsively just grab it and chuck it like without even thinking. I think he caught it too.
Yeah,
which is the
I
best
did,
part.
yeah.
Justin caught it, and he's like, "Why?"
And then he was like, we also got a crown for you. And I was like, I don't want either of these things.
yeah.
Kevin, I might need you to refresh
Yeah.
my memory on this one. This was the next day, I think. We were coming back from eating somewhere that we had to drive through. We were in two different cars, and we pull up behind Nicco, who's driving his car. And I'm like, I don't remember if it was your idea or my idea, but I decided to get out of the car, walk up to the passenger seat. I want to say it was Justin.
Yeah,
That
it
I
was.
just
Oh,
knock on the
yes, it
door,
was.
open it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, get out. Oh, no. They were behind us.
Yeah,
They were behind
we
us.
stopped at a light or
It-
something like that.
So
We stopped going into where we were staying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We were like right in the parking lot of where we were staying. So I get out of the car, walk up to Justin, who's in the passenger seat of Nico's car, open the door, tell him get out. And I think that like we're doing like a passenger swap sort of thing. So
Yeah.
I get in, close the door, and then Nicco just drives off.
mind you,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm like,
ahead of them,
yeah.
and I'm already driving away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's already
and
driving away. And so
Just
I get
leave
in,
me
and
on the
then
side of the
Nicco
road.
just drives off laughing hysterically.
Yeah, I have this on video. I'm like, Nicco, go, just go. And we just left Justin there in the middle
Yeah,
of the road.
so we just leave
Also,
him in the
it's-
parking lot.
It's like nighttime, mind you. So
Yeah,
like, there's
pitch-
only like one illuminating light above him as we drive off.
It's
as he's just
it is
standing there.
pitch black out. He has to walk back, and then he just out of the corner of his ear, you just hear
I heard you
JTart9.
got my sandwich with extra cheese.
Where can we find you, Justin?
You can find me on Twitter at JTart9. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/JTart9. And you can find me on YouTube at youtube.com at world famous JTart9. Because at JTart9 was taken, so I am at
my
world
bad.
famous JTart9.
Wait, is that serious?
100%. You can look that up.
Trav, where can we find you? And do you have anything you want to plug otherwise?
Yeah, so you can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/that Trav Guy. I almost forgot my name. I have a video on Metal Gear 2. Sorry, that was a burp. I have
Another
a video
one.
on Metal
Three,
Gear
baby.
2 dropping in about a week. What day is today? Yeah, about a week. Keep your eyes open for that. Otherwise, I'm actually gonna be out of town at too many games, so don't expect more videos than that because I will be busy. Sean,
That's me,
where are you?
the one who's supposed to be telling people to do this, who's not doing his job because I've slept 2 hours in the past 2 days. My name is Wolf Ko San, and you can find me
How do you spell
on
that?
Wolf as in the animal, WOLF, and then KAOSAUN. It is on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, I, for the first time in a very long time, because ADHD hits hard. And
So
releasing a video.
No
And it's on-
way.
Yeah, no, I'm surprised too. But it's going to be on winter levels. Which is
Yes.
ironic because
The snow has melted.
It's
We're
summer.
talking about summer levels, baby.
Yeah. But also after that, look out for a Sly Cooper video before Too Many Games. Because that's also been in the works. Because I've been doing 2 videos at the same time, like an idiot.
Nice.
And speaking of idiots, let's move on to the gaping golden boat. Kevin, where can we find you?
Ooh.
Why is he gaping?
Never gape me ever again. First off,
Why is he gaping?
If I had a nickel for every time I had to say that,
Go
you
on.
have one.
yeah, probably.
You can find me everywhere online at the Golden Bolt. I don't have any new projects that I'm going to plug just yet besides here on Crub. We have that Zelda discussion, so if you are listening in the audio realm, that Zelda one is going to go only on the YouTube, I think, because we figure that's outside of our usual scope of the stuff that you're here for in the audio realm. So always make sure to follow us over at Crub Official, anywhere you can find us at, except for Twitch, where we're Crub_official. Other than that, I think we have gotten everything out of the way. Remember that if you haven't left a review or a like or a comment or a subscribe button or ringing the bell or whatever, I don't care. Do those things now because we need your validation to feel something.
Please.
Can I
Yeah,
ask
please.
a closing question for everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
It's summertime. The topic was summer
Not
games.
Dumbass.
It is summertime. You cannot
Actually, wait, it
you
is.
cannot change me. Yeah.
Yes.
It's summertime. The ice cream truck has pulled up. What are you getting out of the ice
Sonic
cream?
ice cream.
Sonic ice cream for Sean. Trav, what are you getting?
Real answer, probably like a chocolate drumstick.
Chocolate drumstick. Kevin, what are you
Justin,
getting?
you go first.
I'm getting a cookies and cream milkshake.
Sloppy!